This is the G Podcast with your host, Tommy B.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It is episode 318. This is the G Podcast. We're just doing it, a little bit more condensed for the holiday. Just got to say a big thanks to Tonya B for jumping on and making it this week. Everybody else is in travel mode. Tonya B, this is the period or the section where we always do the tea. Yeah. But, and I'll go ahead and kick it off the proper way. Here we go.
Now then, children, it's time for tea.
It's tea time, y'all. Sipping the tea with Tonya B.
We'll get into any extra you might have after you finish the tea. Let's go ahead and roll with it. Here you go.
It's been a quiet week. First thing we got to talk about is, of course, BET Awards, Lauryn Hill, living legend icon, very well deserved. Everybody was up. I mean, the people who did the tribute, Latifah, Common, Nas, flawless. She performed, although she wasn't supposed to or wasn't scheduled to. And I really liked her acceptance speech, how she really gave it up to her parents, and just that for her, music is love, and I can't be mad at that. But what I am upset about, the passing of the legendary Peabo Bryson. Atlanta is still in mourning over Peabo, who made this his home over 50 years. Grammy Award winner, icon, the Regina Belle, A Whole New World, Celine Dion. And it's just that it was a real home going with a capital H. Anytime you have anybody named Winans there, you already know. And, one thing I do like is that, people were respectful of his family's request for privacy. So shout out to his wife, Tanya. He has a grown adult child from a previous relationship. And, he'll be missed, but what a great body of work Peabo has left us. Would you agree?
I agree.
All right, let's move on. If you have not seen the definitive Earth, Wind, and Fire documentary on, HBO Max, just go get it for a month. Questlove did his thing. There are some things that you didn't know when you thought you knew everything about the band. It's the big takeaway from this is that Reasons is not a love song. It's actually about a one-night stand. And it was interesting because Philip Bailey, who has an interesting ego, said it actually roots his ego when the girl said, "You gots to go." And, the dumb donkey of the week, Oprah, just kind of be quiet. She's claiming Whitney was high when she was on her show in 2009. The estate, Pat Usmanov, said that's not the case. Even her bodyguard came out and said that it was a space she wasn't used to and she just fell. And so the family wants a retraction. And if, for all that Whitney went through and all of the addictions and all of her struggles and challenges, in that arena, if she didn't do it, let her rest in peace and not roll over one more again. I don't know. And why Oprah had to go to Cannes to do that is beyond me. But, let's still give Whitney some dignity. No matter what, one of the greatest voices, hands down, bar none, of all time.
Agreed. I agree.
Yep. And then, I told you I woke up to something that was kind of sad, was Danny Glover on the Today Show, who, you figure he's just chilling, doing what he's doing, but he's very much and always has been very much of a social activist. But he's talking about now his battle with Alzheimer's. And he had a couple of times when he struggled, during the interview, but 500 to Lester Holt, great interview. If you haven't seen it, go to the YouTube channel. But the thing about it is he's doing it with dignity, and I really appreciate the fact that he's still going to amplify his voice for as long as he can to talk about healthcare disparity and to talk about social justice issues that are still very, very important.
Yeah, and good for him. I hate to hear that. But we're at that age where a lot of these guys we grew up with, a lot of these ladies, these gentlemen who were great actors, and actors, actresses, whatever they want to be called, they're getting older. And they're getting in that phase where, it's like losing Peabo. For us, I'm thinking, man, I just listened to a Peabo song the other day, or I'm still here, feel the fire. I'm still here.
Exactly.
But they're getting up in age, and it's going to be, there are a few who we're kind of watching them struggle. I mean, just like Uncle Charlie,
I went to this show last week. I can't.
Did you? Well, give me your thoughts. Go ahead, jump in.
Okay, I went. He said it took him 8 months. He should have taken off at least a year. A lot of, because he had the strokes in his brain, so a lot of things he said were repetitious. He wasn't able to move about. Well, he walked across the piano. He said he couldn't do that last week. But I think with the heat and his age and his other health issues, he should have stayed off the stage, especially in outdoor venues, much longer. I was able to see backstage, and what I saw is not something that the general public needs to see. I give him
Well,
5.
let me ask you, Tonya B. Is it a situation where he has to work?
Well, yeah, I think
And when I say that, a lot of them. Well, you've got performers and you've got singers and songwriters.
I'll say this, Charlie was booked. He has been working nonstop for the last 20 years or so since he came back. Charlie, last name Wilson. But the thing is, when you book and you know this, when you book an artist, the money is given to them. And if they don't, just like when you show up and there's an act of God, the artist still gets paid, even if it rains and storms, if there's nobody there, if the show is shut down. In his
It's an
case,
advance almost.
yeah, right.
It's an
He
advance.
has to get that money back. So I
Okay.
think now he's making up dates that he missed, but he still should not be working no more than 1 or 2 days a week. It was a little painful at times, and there were songs that are Gap Band classics that the band and the backup singers were singing, and there was a little bit of lip syncing going on there too. And I was like, you know what? Stop.
Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
did you see the Earth, Wind, and Fire doc?
That's on my bucket list for this weekend. Don't tell me. Don't.
Okay. Well, for the sake of the conversation and,
Yes.
and the audience, I saw it.
Okay.
And I know Earth, Wind, and Fire is still out there.
Yes.
They're still performing. The three of them, well, the three core members.
Yes.
But I've got to say, I was at part of the conversation in the Earth, Wind, and Fire doc is the All in All tour. I was there for the All in All tour. I look back and I ask myself, I don't even remember who I went with. You know what I'm saying? I am a tween probably when I went to see this concert, but it was the most amazing concert I had ever gone to. I remember the pods, the triangles, them coming down from the top, and I'd always thought it was what's his name? The two musicians or magicians.
Doug Henning, when they were
It was
levitating.
I used to think it was the other major.
I know Doug was it Doug Henning?
But he did say, and I'm glad they cleared it up, that it's Doug Henning,
Right.
who they actually worked with. I was thinking, his name will come to me in a minute. But I say that to say this: when we see a lot of these acts who may still be around, and you remember them for what they did at the All in All tour,
Yes.
or you see them when they were with the Gap Band on the Miller Sound Express.
The Budweiser Super.
The Budweiser Superfest.
Ooh, yes.
It's hard to watch them now. People are always asking me, well, why don't you go see blah, blah, blah now? And I say, it's tough. I say, it's tough because I saw them then, And I know for a lot of folks, they probably haven't lived the life that you and I have lived. But it's kind of tough seeing them where they are now versus remembering what they did back then, because I'm telling you, there are two concerts for me that I will always remember are the best concerts I've ever gone to. One was All in All by Earth, Wind, and Fire, because I was such a big Earth, Wind, and Fire fan. Yeah. Posters all over my wall. Just all that. If you remember, the All in All tour had this huge program that you bought.
Yes.
It wasn't like a regular size, probably 11 by 17.
It was either they call that tabloid size, or else maybe it was legal size. It was not that 8.5 by 11, not at all. It was glossy, right?
Yes.
Color.
Because one thing that they explained, I'm not going to go into too much detail for those who haven't seen it, but they hired a guy from Broadway to produce their concerts, and the All in All tour was the first. Okay, when they brought in Doug Henning, they brought in this guy who did, and watch it, you'll get credit, you'll see his name. He's definitely
George Faison, maybe.
Might have been, may have been,
because he did the Wiz also.
Yeah,
George
exactly.
Faison,
That's him. That's him.
That's him.
Okay, the costumes, all that changed from what they had done before. That's why it was just so incredible and so amazing. And the other tour is the Jacksons.
Victory?
Triumph. Oh, Triumph.
Okay, that was that
Can you
after?
feel it? Can you feel it? Yeah, because I saw, this is the one they opened up with, Can You Feel It? Randy walks out with the torch.
Pyrotechnics,
Yes. And those are the two concerts I remember the most because they were just so incredible. I mean, it was just so incredible. So I hate to hear about Charlie Wilson. I hate, Peebo Bryson was kind of struggling toward the end as well, but he still had a good voice. But
He did.
definitely rest in power to those
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
gentlemen and the people who are still trying to make it happen. You have
Yeah,
one more
yeah.
thing to say about that?
It's just that you like I said, you look at these people, and it's just a matter of time when we were talking about Danny Glover, and that really touched me because right now, for those of you who may or may not know, I am long distance and caregiving and doing everything else I do for my mom, and she
Hmm.
has Alzheimer's, so I really understand as I watch, the progression, which is not a good, it's not, it's I don't know why they call it progression. The disease progresses. And, once things are gone, they're gone. And
Yeah.
so, I applaud him for using his voice. And, it could be a very private thing where he's using his voice, his resources, and his name recognition to help raise awareness about it. Because there are people who get Alzheimer's who are in their 40s. It's not what people call an old person's disease.
Hmm.
There are
Yeah.
people in their 40s who get it, who struggle with it. So I'm telling you, it is real. And again, I just say 5 on it to him and his
Yeah,
family.
I was wondering why I had not seen him in any movies.
Yeah.
I was
And
I
that's
was
why.
wondering. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why. Okay. Talk about the BET Awards. Have you had a chance to see them, or just seeing clips? Seeing clips.
Clips. I can't sit down with that and give them that much of my life. I know that, and because of I think of all of the attention when it comes to the ownership and the affiliation with BET, which is not black owned anymore, I
Yeah.
think they felt they had to make a statement. So it was similar to, all bets are off, do whatever you have to do. There is no budget.
Hmm.
But I gotta say one thing, Tommy B.
Yeah.
Lauryn Hill, icon, well deserved. Tiana Taylor, I think that was to pull an audience, and they did get some decent numbers. But when you say icon, Tiana Taylor has not been alive as long as Lauryn Hill has been in the game of hip
Yeah.
hop and R&B. So that's a side eye thing for me. I think she'll have a great career. I did enjoy what was his name? Banksy, Bopsy, whoever the host was.
Oh, Drewski.
Drewski, yeah, I knew it was a
Yeah.
skiing.
Yeah.
So I did enjoy him, and I hope that I think this will propel him to a higher platform and make him more than just a social media influencer. Because I think that's a short-term temp job. But one thing I gotta say, shout out to my boy Duran Bernard, who created his Grammy moment, and that was
Mister,
hilarious.
don't call me R&B. Okay.
Yeah, I know. And Duran, I'm gonna say he's having a sunstroke, but I hope he can. Right now, his black card's in jeopardy. Okay, I'll just
Well,
say it.
for me, when you're a new artist, when you're in that position where, correct me if I'm wrong, Tonya B, most people don't even know the song that he actually won for, or the last album. Most, and I'm not saying all,
Yeah,
but I'm
right.
saying the majority of the folks don't recognize his songs yet.
They
When
don't.
you're in now, there are a lot of best R&B artists who win Grammys who aren't as known, but you're still in a
Yeah.
position where you're building your fan base.
Yes.
You don't make that kind of comment because you're still building your
No.
fan base, and you're gonna, let me say this, you're gonna build it with the R&B people first, and then
Yeah.
if you haven't built that R&B base yet, it's not likely that you're gonna cross over and become pop, because
He's
you
not.
have to get hot one. I mean, I'll say have to, or you must. But if you're striving to get to the Hot 100, which if you look
Yes.
at Billboard, that's supposed to be inclusive of all the different genres, you
Supposed
got
to.
to have a core. And I don't even think he's really established his core
No.
R&B. So why you say
No.
that, dude? I like his music. I
Um.
think he's on point. But I thought it was
no.
the most ill-advised comment any R&B artist today can
Could
make.
make, because you know what, you can be gone tomorrow. There are people like you said who have won best new artist Grammys or won Grammys period, and like they might be working at UPS for all we know. So I said while he is building a brand, yes, he has a core audience,
Hmm.
of people who have been riding with him for the last 20 years. I am one of them, not 20 years. But if you want to establish yourself, you don't do that. Janet Jackson did not do that.
No.
You look at the people, the people who crossed over, they did not do that. But and you think he would know better based on his where he comes from. Um,
Where does
did
he
you?
come from?
Well, his father is one of. First of all, he's from Cleveland. Okay, let's start there.
Okay.
Second of all, his father is one of the most prolific, like on the Earth, Wind, and Fire level. Like he grew up in the studio with his dad, so he learned the craft. I get that, but Duran, please don't start smelling yourself because as quickly as sometimes people get a Grammy and they sell it because they become yesterday's corned beef hash. So I hope he, because if you ignore that audience that built you, and don't believe me, ask Neo. If you ignore that audience that built you,
Yeah.
they'll put you over there in the corner with R. Kelly, Tyrese, and Ray J. That's all
Well,
I
I
got.
mean, the strategy for most of these black television organizations, music organizations, is always they build black and then they cross over. And if you're not building black, which honestly, that's the R&B target, you got to admit it. It's the R&B part of what we do.
You know what?
They got to make it happen.
I,
Yeah.
I don't know. I see he'll be more on the dance chart than on the pop chart, and that's just reality for me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I mean, unless he's got some inside opportunity that we
don't
could
know
never
about.
imagine. I don't see him crossing over
No,
right
because
away.
okay, if you were going to cross over, you look at Michael Jackson back in the day. He had a duet with Mick Jagger and Paul McCartney.
Oh
Duran
well,
does
yeah,
not.
yeah. He did the Paul McCartney separate, and then
Yeah,
he did
but
the
then
Mick
Mick
Jagger
Jagger.
State of Shock. Yeah,
Right. Not that it was the best record ever,
and
but
it was horrible. But yeah, go
right,
ahead.
it made sense. Duran does. Oh, come on. Duran does not have those types of collaborations on his album.
No,
So,
no.
I say this. You know what? Slow walk it. You're not ready for prime time just yet. I don't think you're going to see him next year presenting at the Grammys during the main televised portion of the program because he's not there. He just
And,
isn't.
and speaking of that, because I do want to get that your opinion on the BET Awards is valuable.
Okay.
Definitely without a
Thank
doubt.
you.
But I got to say this about Drewski. I think it was good. They knew that Drewski has a ton of people following him.
Yes.
Okay. He's big YouTube. His core audience is going to be YouTube online. So I know they probably put him out front for that. The person I wish had actually hosted this is Keke Palmer. And it was funny when Keke, if you saw that, and
yes.
it's a viral moment. It's online when he's kind of struggling and she grabs the mic. She said, "How you get this gig?" But I know she was laughing, but I thought she was serious because honestly, if Keke Palmer's the truth, she can do
but
it.
She's on.
Oh, she's on.
All the time.
She's it was kind of a comedic thing, comedy, funny, her being her being the comedian, but for me it was like, yeah, girl, take the mic. Because
you know what?
Take that mic, because if she had done it, it would not have gone over time because it went longer than it should have gone. Keke don't play, and I think people would have probably respected the overall presentation of it if Keke was doing it. Go ahead.
Keke has more experience. This was his first and largest platform ever, I'm sure. Keke has the experience. She knows about timing. He's just learning. I said this will propel him to, other opportunities. But Keke Palmer would have kept that thing down to the second because she's a veteran. Really, she's a vet. And the thing is,
why? But let me ask you, Tonya B, why couldn't they both have done it? We've had situations where you've got dual presenters, her to keep it on track and him to be himself.
They already spent all the money on the set and bringing people in and making sure Janet was there because Janet's showing up now to the cookout now, y'all. You realize that, right?
Yeah.
And I guess by the time they could have had Keke there, Keke said, "John, I got enough cash. I can't do it."
I wish she had done it. Maybe it would have probably been a little bit more engagement.
I don't want her to ever, diminish herself because it's not like she's helping out Black people, so to speak, because it's not a Black company. But, don't dim your light, honey, and get, whatever she's worth and whatever she asks for, I believe she deserves it.
Yeah, I agree. Let's talk about real quick the conversation about Oprah and the conversation around the Whitney Houston.
Oh yeah,
the Whitney Houston comment. And you go ahead. I'll let you go first, and I'll dive in.
Here's my question. I don't know, everything that was going on at Con at that moment, but why she even have to say it? It's almost like saying Michael Jackson was a drug addict or whoever was a drug. Why did she even have to say that? What was her point? And I mean, what value did it bring? None. So why she thought she had to say that?
Yeah.
Oprah don't get it right all the time either, and this is one of
Yeah.
those times, I believe.
Well, it was what they call the Cannes Lions Festival for Creators. So that's one of the reasons I know Oprah's there.
Right. Okay.
Because Oprah is still, she's still a big force
A
in Black
creator. Yeah.
content creator.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I'll say this, and I said this on the last podcast. Oprah's the one who gave us Dr. Phil and Dr. Oz. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that alone kind of puts her out of the conversation for me, because she's done. I mean, she's done a lot for a lot of different people. Yana,
Yeah. Only
but
true.
when I look at the MAGA creations that
Yep.
came out of the Oprah Winfrey Show, part of me said, okay, we don't really need you. You've done a phenomenal job as a host. She is iconic,
True.
but I just did not see the reason to do that to Whitney.
Exactly.
I think Oprah has, as a lot of these former, I want to say icons, but a lot of these opinion leaders from back in the day,
Yes,
they hold grudges.
they do. Oh,
They
look! Remember her and Tony Braxton? Remember
yeah,
that?
yeah.
Okay, talk about a
A
grudge.
lot of them hold grudges, and they still feel like they are in a position to twist the knife.
You know what else?
I didn't think it was worth it. I didn't think it was
Me
worth it
either.
for her, and it said to me, "Look, we need to leave you alone."
Well,
Yep.
I take a page from the book of Ricky Smiley this week, where he said he feels, and I would tend to agree with him, that Gail and Oprah have like lost touch with their roots, and it's like their black cards are about to be taken away.
Yeah, but and sadly enough, I don't even
And
know if that matters to them anymore. I don't
I
think
know it
people.
does. I
I don't
don't,
think people care.
right.
And you're right. I mean, from a standpoint as somebody who creates, and we talk about Black
Yes,
culture, we honor if somebody says, okay, you got a black card, I'm happy. Okay, but a lot of these folks simply don't seem to care
they
anymore,
don't.
because let's take a step back for a minute, Tanya B. When Jet, Ebony, that whole Johnson Publishing
Yeah, yes,
universe really mattered.
it does.
Okay,
Yes, yes,
or being on Soul Train mattered,
yeah. Or
or
being in Right On magazine.
Right On, or even in the beginning of BET mattered.
Yes, yes, yes.
Unfortunately, I don't think anybody puts that much weight on it anymore.
It doesn't.
And that's sad. So I don't think she cares. I'm bigger than the
You know
black
what?
card.
No,
I'll say
it's
what I
like
want to say.
this. You
Yeah.
used to want to come to the cookout, but now you don't care because you're going out to the Hamptons.
You're right.
That
Right.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And then, and the other thing is, I know from whence
I
I
am the
came.
cookout.
Right. It's almost like I know from whence I came, but I don't live there anymore. It's
Yeah.
almost like people, that was a quote, something like that with Diana Ross. I came from the projects, and I can understand you can come from anywhere, but doesn't mean you have to be of it. You can rise above, but at the same time, I mean, you know what? You look in the mirror, just like a day's going to come for her and Gail and a lot of other people when you're going to think you can do what they do at that table. Like Bill Cosby thought he could buy NBC. You really don't have a seat there. So yes, you make your own table, but your
Yeah.
table doesn't have the legs that the other tables that you would want to sit at have, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So let me ask you, who do you think, what black institution right now has that much power?
It's a shame because those things, like you said, the Jet, the Ebony, the Right On, Soul Train, Arsenio Hall, which was a place where our folks could go as Soul Train was winding down.
Yeah.
It's almost like there isn't one. And I don't know that anyone's building one. And shout out to Byron Allen for what he's done. But you can't, and I get building an empire costs money, but Byron Allen, his downfall will be not paying people what they're worth and being so cheap that people don't want to work with him.
Well, I'll tell you his other downfall, in my opinion, for people who look at it as a black platform. They've stripped it down so much, Tanya B. It's generic. They don't have BET, when at least they had Ed Gordon. They were making an attempt to be.
They had news.
Right. They were making an attempt to cover the full culture. When I hear BET culture, that doesn't, I mean, what is it? The awards, what is it? I'd like for somebody, if anybody, hey, if you're in the audience and you feel like if you can define that culture, I would love to know.
It's
what
almost
it
like
is.
what was it? Because what it is now, I mean, it's not nothing is as it was, but
Yeah.
those things that were the pillars of our culture are disappearing and they're not being rebuilt or replaced.
Yeah. So with Byron Allen, for me, it's good that he's doing that as a black man building his
Empire.
what do you call it, his
It's
empire,
empire.
his media empire. But really and truly, and this is going to sound hard, it's just a place for commercials.
Not only that,
It's legal shows all day.
the
It's
ones
Sanford
that
and
are his,
Son.
yeah.
It's syndication. Even the comic thing that he's doing
Oh,
on,
that's
I guess,
horrible. Comic
nightly, in
Relief.
terms of
Yes.
what he took from what he's doing instead of the nighttime show that was there before.
Yeah.
This is comedy that is what I call evergreen. It's comedy from the last 5 years.
Yeah, but all of it,
I mean, really, let
right.
me say this. They are recycling the same bits, the
Yeah.
same comedians from that show
Yeah.
that has aired for the last 5-10 years. There's nothing relevant. He's not going to say anything controversial.
No.
They're not going to push the envelope. If you notice, it's just jokes about the people real time on the show. It never gives any kind of timestamp of where they are.
No,
That's
but
why. I
it's
mean, it's
it's
from the last
old.
5 to 10 years.
Right.
It is.
It's
It's old.
old. No,
So
I
I gotta say, it's frustrating for me because now these are going to become the icons, and they're really kind of letting us down. But go ahead.
that scares me. And I even look at like the Griot TV.
Oh,
I
I can't.
mean,
I don't watch it. I watch it when I'm trying to go to sleep at night, and I just need something on in the background,
but
and I just let the reruns of Sanford and Son put me to sleep. Yeah.
the
Okay.
only good thing about it is it shows us some legendary black TV. I give them that because all that stuff is dirt cheap now. So all you're gonna see is Sanford and Son, Cosby, and I don't know what, maybe the Parkers, things like that. But again, like except for Quinta
Look,
Brunson, where are
I'll just
the
watch
black TV
Dabble.
shows?
I'll just there's the thing that comes on if you have Hulu and you live in the Atlanta area. If you live in a
Yeah.
black metro, there's a what do you call it? There's a network called Dabble, and Dabble shows a lot of the UPN, the WB stuff, all the
Yes,
stuff from the
yes,
90s.
yes.
Hell, I'll just watch that.
I go to Pluto. That on
Yeah,
Pluto
Pluto
seat.
too. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Tonya B, you got anything else? Anything we missed this week? You think we need to be talking about?
No, not really. It's kind of been, it's been a slow weekend. I just don't want to get into anybody's foolishness this weekend, so I'm not going to
Yeah,
talk
I don't
about,
either.
I mean, shout out to Chris Brown and Usher, but all that simulated sex, is like it makes me. I used to want to go see this show, and now I'm like, pass.
Yeah.
Eh.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, I appreciate you jumping on. Give it up.
Yeah. Oh,
Tanya
that's
B-
what am I
No, go
cooking
ahead.
this weekend? What you hey,
Yeah,
Tanya
what
B,
you
what
cooking?
you
What you
cooking?
cooking? What you got cooking, Tanya B?
Not much.
Not
Whatever.
much.
But
So why'd you tell me to ask?
Because I think
Damn.
I'm in the majority, not the minority. Anytime when you got to wear a pot holder on your steering wheel and it's 104 degrees at 3:30 in the afternoon, ain't nobody cooking.
Yeah, I hear that. I hear a lot of people saying they're not going to turn the grill on. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not oven grill. No, my air fryer maybe, but no.
Yeah. I appreciate it, Tanya B. Let me stop
All
being
right,
mean.
all right.
That's my
Don't
mean 30 minutes.
You
I
know
had to
what?
say it. I had to say it. 'Cause, I mean, we haven't had a chance. I haven't had you on in a minute.
Yeah,
So
but you know what?
I needed to talk about
You need
something.
to-
I needed
you need
to
to exhale.
release
Exhale.
yourself.
Yourself. Now, me and my fake ID. What, Leroy Burgess and the Aleems? Oh, Jesus. Okay, I'm
Yes.
sorry. I'm back.
There you go.
Yes.
Tanya B, have a great weekend.
You do the same. We'll be back here next week. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and share. And it's not too late, Tommy B, is it, to do 26 for 26?
They can do whatever they want to do.
Okay, look, if everybody that hears this podcast gave us 26 cents, we'd be good for a minute.
Yeah.
Not for long, though.
That's good. Appreciate
All
you,
right.
Tanya B. Thank you. Thank you again, Tonya B, for coming on with this abbreviated episode. Before we get out of here, y'all, we've got to talk about what happened with the Supreme Court this week. In a massive 6-3 ruling, the court completely struck down the administration's executive order that tried to end birthright citizenship. And we have to call it what it is. It was a cruel, anti-immigrant attempt to rewrite the 14th Amendment and create a permanent underclass. The administration tried to argue that if a parent is undocumented, their U.S.-born baby shouldn't be a citizen. Now think about that. Think about the people it will impact. But the court shut it down. They made it clear that a president is not a king. Okay? The text of the Constitution matters. And if you're born on this soil, you're an American. Period. This is a massive sigh of relief for hundreds of thousands of families who've been living in fear, not knowing what this outcome was going to bring. It's a huge win, but the fight, I'm telling you, it's never over. Our communities, we have to stay alert, keep our heads on a swivel. You got to. If you appreciate us breaking down these types of stories, we have fun too. It's not all serious. Do us a favor, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. We've got some great stuff coming up and we don't want you to miss it. We want you to be a part of what we're doing, what's coming up. Shout out to the crew, always holding it down. Vi, Tonya B, Talib Shabazz, Syracuse Mike Roberts, Harold Michael Harvey, Hitman Howie, and Lady J. I'm Tommy B, and episode 318 of This Is the G podcast is in the can. I hope you had a great holiday week and have a great upcoming week. Peace and power to the people.
You've been listening to This Is the G podcast. This Is the G podcast is a production of the Castropolis Podcast Network. Thanks for listening.